I was born in Germany actually before Hitler became Reich Chancellor. I was born into a family that raised me on an estate called Waldgut Horker, the forest estate. One thing I remember, I had a very strict father, was that he maintained, Waldmenschen haben keine Angst. People who grow up in the woods are fearless. That did not apply to me. I had reached the age of 10 where it was mandatory, and most people don't realize it. It was mandatory to join the Hitler Youth. In September 38, the law took effect. So the Gestapo could come on your home and arrest you if you had a son, or a girl for that matter, between the ages of 10 and 18 who did not belong to the Hitler Youth. In my case, I must admit, and retroactively looking back, I fully understand. I wanted a uniform. I wanted a camping knife, the whole outfit, and I wanted to belong. So I couldn't wait to be admitted to the Hitler Youth. In 1938, my birthday is in May, and April the 20th was the cutoff day. So I became a Hitler Youth and rose pretty fast. One thing the Nazis knew well is how to promote and make you feel good and make you feel important if you fit into their way of thinking and the way they wanted the German youth to develop. I had reached the age, and of course I resided in Breslau, where I had to join the Volkssturm, the home defense. Boys or men from 16 to 60 had, by order of the commander, assemble and go through quick training and move in front of Breslau, which was the capital of Silesia, and declared a fortress to stop the oncoming Russians. Just picture us, 15, 16 years old. And then they did one smart thing. They separated the youngsters from the older veterans. And we marched east, and we came to the point where in opposing villages there were the Germans and there were the Russians. I didn't make it because I got shot in my behind. There I ended up in my first so-called field hospital, which had nothing. The floor were our beds and no medication. And I just had my belt here because that was our pain medication. And the order was, beiß ins Leder, bite into the leather to manage your pain. And I not only bit into the leather, I started smoking. So we had some quick bazooka training again, and Gutschke, who was our unit commander, had made me his courier, and I was between Berlin and Frankfurt out there on a Guts estate, large farm, polishing my belt, and a jeep drove up, and from the jeep a high official descended, and he had a wooden arm, and I realized him immediately that he was the top Hitler Youth leader by the name of Arthur Axmann. So Axmann gets out there, I salute, and he salutes back, and he gets here and said, "Where did you earn your Iron Cross?" And I said, "In Wanzen-Oletal." Had to describe it, and he said, "Are there other Hitler Youth here?" And there were 4 of us all total. And he went to my commander and said, "I want these boys in Berlin on the 18th to be part of a delegation to wish the Führer a happy birthday." We made it to Berlin. The first reception was set for 10 o'clock in the morning on the 20th, was postponed till noon, and then finally at 5 p.m. it took place. And it looked pretty dismal, except the back of the Reich Chancellery was still in a situation that we could assemble there, and Hitler dared to come up there during a time period where there are no Stalin-Orgel attacks by the Russians. There were 3 delegations. Frundsberg, which was SS delegation. Then we had Kurland, Wehrmacht delegation, and then we had the Hitler Youth. And I was number 2 in the lineup, and I could not believe the position and the condition Hitler was in. In 1945, when he came out escorted by 2 of his adjutants, Günscher was one, and the other, I can't think the name right now, who left in a courier plane. But nevertheless, I'm going to show you, he had his arm on the coat jacket, holding onto it because he was shaking so badly. It looked like today one would suspect some Parkinson disease or what have you. Most of my comrades went right back to their units, including the others from our unit. I don't know why, maybe because I had experience as a runner. Axmann set up his own home defense unit, Berlin Brigade Arthur Axmann, and he put his hand on my shoulder and said, "You're going to stay in Berlin and you're going to be my courier." Order. Yes. So that is the reason why I ended up in the bunker. So after I was selected to become Axmann's courier, we went to the Reichsjugendführung and to the old offices, and then the Russian Katyushas reached us, and then Axmann went to a Lagebesprechung, which was a situation briefing, and came back and said, "We are going to move into the party chancellery." Now guess what? The party chancellery was right across from the bunker entrance, but not the main entrance, but the back entrance of the bunker. A week or so before the end of the war, the wife of the propaganda minister, Frau Goebbels, came with her 6 children. And 2 of these children, 2 girls of the children, could have been sisters of mine. They had such a resemblance of my sister Anya and my sister Ute. I was just aghast, because I knew that these kids were going to be murdered. Mrs. Goebbels was so fanatic like her husband and said it wouldn't be worth her children experiencing the future. And then, of course, they killed themselves, the Goebbels. So I knew of this, and I knew that Hitler had decided to commit suicide. So Axmann came over to Wilhelmstrasse, where we had our quarters, and he had his command post, and told us that Hitler had committed suicide. Now the whole picture changed. I think instinct sets in. I suddenly started thinking, how do I survive? And during this time, word came down that Mohnke, who was General Mohnke, who had decided to get his troops out of the bunker area. And there were other units too, and Axmann went to a briefing, and they decided in 20-minute intervals we would, during the night, try to break out and hopefully survive. The time came. We were supposed to go as number 5 in 20-minute intervals, but Axmann got impatient and we went in 3rd place and came to a bridge, and a tank exploded in front of us, and Axmann decided, because we had proceeded single lane, and he decided we should not cross the bridge because of the fire, the intense fire, but work our ways down the river and then cross on the next bridge. The cassette, I didn't pick my parents, although I would have picked my mother. I didn't pick my religion. I did not pick the country I was born in. Well, they are doing quite well now by standards. But one thing I resolved for myself is that brutality is not anything that demonstrates who is manliness. So I became a peacemaker, and some people maintain the only way you can fight bullies is as a bully, and I refuse to be a bully.